that has to be very important, that we don't bring up new issues, but that we go back to what the violation was. It can even be formatted where people write down what their issues are. And this can be written down in the form of the molestation, the betrayal. This is the issue. How can we keep people safe? How can we keep people to be loyal to their word and be responsible when they say they're going to do something, to do something? So again, C is going to be when. We don't have meetings late because at night, because our amygdala is overactive, we're oversensitive, we're spent. It's just different things change and we're unable to control ourselves and we're more stimulated at night. So these type of meetings are best in the morning after a good night's sleep. And that's just, I've seen it work best. So be very strategic on when. If someone's sick, that's not a win. If someone's mourning or if there's something traumatic, that's an emotional vulnerability. They won't be in their prefrontal cortex. They may be exasperated with an emotional experience. So we have to wait until they're good. And then we want to make sure it is definitely in the morning or midday. The longer the day goes on, we lose ground. So these are morning type of structures. We're our best in the morning. And then where, this is important, like where are we going to begin the process of reconciliation? Not on the phone, not through text. I know in the pandemic, we had to communicate that way, but in person is best. In person is best because you get to really see the facial cues and you get to feel the spirit and the love, and it just changes things. Even if someone is speaking, you get to feel what they're feeling, because we're all interconnected. The law of entanglement in relationships, we can feel that. So we want to have in these serious planning and restoration and reconciliation, when we come to the table, we need to come, we need to be able to feel each other. And then it needs to be a neutral environment, not a place that's triggering, not a place where the person you feel is in control is having it at their house and it's home court advantage, kind of like with the sports, home court advantage. People don't like home court advantage because it's home court advantage. You want to go to a neutral place, and that neutral place may also be therapy. It may be church, and it may be a trusted, mature person's home who's neutral, where you feel like this is neutral ground. We all get along with this person. This person is not really directly involved in the issue, and they're fair. And how, we talked about that, like, how do we do it? I've been giving you dropping little hints to that. It is deciding what we want that's feasible and what the mission statement is. Because if we go outside of the mission statement, then we get to reroute it. We need direction so that it doesn't go 50 places. The purpose of the reconciliation is to acknowledge the breach and to find a for us to keep each other safe. That's a mission statement, and you get to decide it. We get to decide how we're going to keep people safe from molestation, safe from abuse or physical abuse, verbal abuse, whatever it is coming together with a mission statement. How we're going to keep the family together. How are we going to plan events to keep the family together? On those notes, that's the how. So in the action steps to reconciliation, after you plan it, then in the actual, at the table, what has to happen is you're going to process the emotions. Now, we don't want to drag it out, but we want to be transparent, because sometimes people, all the time and at the table, people need to feel the impact. There needs to be vulnerability, because we have an idea of what people think and feel, but no one expresses their emotions like the person who's experiencing that. And it allows us to re-enter into their world. So that is the first step in rejoining, is re-experiencing someone's world, their vulnerabilities, their needs, their ideas, how they felt, what kept them up. So this is a place to know that you may need some tissue, and you may need some to be able to emotionally contain yourself so that you can emotionally contain the environment. It's going to be triggering and it's going to be emotional. Just expect that. And so then you're going to want to have some personal accountability. And this has to be a safe place, you all. All of the things I'm saying is the healing place. The reconciliation table is a sacred place where we create an environment similar to the environment that God created for Adam and Eve, of peace and not of attacking, but of safety and love and acceptance. Because if there's love and then that there's acceptance, there's safety. And then you can take personal accountability. You can let down your armor of defense and just take accountability and be honest. I never felt good enough. I felt left out. I was molested, and that's why I did that, or that's why I turned the other cheek when this person molested that person, because I didn't want to deal with it, because it triggered my feelings of vulnerability. And just allowing each other to hold space and to share the pain connected to the incident and taking accountability. Nothing creates safety like accountability. Because when people are denying it, then you don't feel safe, because you think they'll do it again because they don't see it. But if they see it and acknowledge it, then I can be safe. And then there's to determine, like we said, to be willing to commit to the process. Commit. Like if I get uncomfortable, I'm not going to get up and walk away. I'm going to sit through it. The only way I'll get up is if I'm being verbally attacked or physically attacked. And if I need a moment, I will raise my hand and ask respectfully for a moment. If I need it, if I can't do it, I need to be honest and respectful and verbalize that as well. Commit to honesty and loving, respectful communication. Because as we stated, love needs to travel faster than honesty. Sometimes honesty travels faster than love. And we just feel like, well, I told you, I just thought you should know. I spoke the truth. That's my truth. And it's okay to bring your truth, but can we let your truth be followed by love? Like, can love lead it? Can love hold it and lead it? Can it be sandwiched in between love, and love carry it and love cover it? And then you give us your truth, so that your truth doesn't heal and doesn't hurt and harm and destroy and cause further damage. More people are destroyed in the act of reconciliation than anything, because you're re-injured, or it's a time to say how you really feel, and so you create another offense. So be very, very, very careful to let love travel faster than honesty. And then when you come to this, you may have a list of grievances, things you want to say, how you want to say it, and you're ready. Check you're ready. Because ready needs to be ready to listen. Remember in our communication module, we talked about communication begins with listening. So when you come to this table, come with the agenda that, what am I going to learn? Become curious. What am I going to learn that I didn't know about the people at the table? What am I going to learn about their experience? What do they need? What are they saying? What do they want? Because you're sowing respect by listening, and then when it's your turn, it should be reciprocated. Validate. You can't validate if you don't listen, because that's invalidating. Speaking over someone and belittling, or saying what they really meant, and not letting them communicate their own experience and disrupting their experience, it's invalidating. And if you don't have validation, the meeting won't be successful. Validation, again, as a review, means I see you, I hear you, and I understand. If that's lost, fold it up. You can't go any further, because you're going to have shutdown, and you're going to have anger and shutdown. If people are not validated, you're going to experience anger and shutdown. And so we're here to create peace at this table of peace and reconciliation. And then there's apology. We talked about that. It is just not the general, oh, I'm sorry for whatever I did. That's not going to work. That's part of the accountability. Accountability is what it looks like in the apology is, I left you out. I didn't protect you. I betrayed you. I lied on you. I thought about myself. I talked about whatever it is being accountable in the apology. And then it is, after you hear it, being willing in the process to be forgiving. just be ready and willing and know that it's going to take that. It took that for you to get to the table. And if new information is given, then it's going to take you to walk in that same vein of these people are human. I'm human. They're being honest and, they're here. I respect that they're here telling me the truth. I respect that they're here because they love me and they're trying to fix this. And I choose forgiveness. I choose forgiveness. There's enough acknowledgement. There's enough visible remorse. And I choose it. I choose it. And just because you choose forgiveness, you still get to, after all of this, you get to look for the fruit. You get to still allow trust to be built, right? And that's number 11. You want to honor the growth and healing process by looking for evidence and fruit that there is a change. When trust is broken, you don't immediately get it back. You just get a willingness to build it. So coming to the table says, I'm willing to rebuild trust. I'm willing. You said enough. I feel you. We got an understanding. And now we have to rebuild. And by rebuilding, it takes time and it takes consistency. And then there's predictability. If there's consistency, there's predictability. And people show you that you can trust them. And then you build together and you rebuild and you rebuild. But if you can't get over it, that's unforgiveness. And so people don't have to spend the rest of their life proving to you. Like, oh no, they didn't prove. Well, they got 10 points off. They didn't. That's unrealistic. But being realistic and saying, no, they're trying, and I'm choosing to give them more trust. They're earning more trust, and I'm giving it to them. I'm investing, because all trust is an investment. Just like the stock market, you never know who's going to do what. But if you decide someone's worth investing in, if the relationship is worth investing in, then you're able to trust. And you're not so scared if they make a mistake. Your little heart can take it. Right? And so you're being protective, yes, and setting those good boundaries, but you're not rigid, and you're not where you are just telling people you're willing to rebuild, but you're so scared you can't rebuild and you're holding back. But it is giving a trust as situations permit over time. And sometimes it may never go back to a particular way. If there is a violation, someone does their jail time for molesting someone, well, you might not be able to be the one who watches the kids. That's just the truth of it. And they have stipulations like that, Megan's List or different things. And so you have to play it by ear, and you have to decide in your family amongst everyone. Someone doesn't feel safe, but someone feels safe. That becomes a person individuality and thought and desires for their families. But if you still don't feel safe, you don't, just because you forgive them and just because you reconcile, doesn't mean they have to become the family's babysitter. That does. And people can change. We don't want to hold people immediately to their prior mistakes, but you also get to move at the rate that makes you comfortable. You get to move together in unity as you're comfortable. And the person who violated, they should be willing to let you move at the rate that you're comfortable, because they're the violator. They don't get to dictate how fast you forgive or what their privileges are. The people get to decide. The people who were violated get to decide and dictate how you move. That doesn't mean you just stay here forever and refuse to move, but it says you get to dictate the comfort level of the moving. And the person who did the violating, they need to consent to that and respect. That's part of the consequences. I have to regain trust.